Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nithin Ramachandra from the NR Media, the NR Hour Sports Show, back with another episode, back-to-back days with an episode. Yesterday, I had John Carney on the show, former NFL kicker. So everyone, go check that out. It's already out there on all social media formats. But today, we have a baseball show. But before we get to our guest, we are live on iHeartRadio, Spotify, on all the podcast platforms. So fans, please tune in. You can ask the questions on my speaker app on my phone. And I got my two special co-hosts today live on the show. Their names are Cooper and Carter from the Double Trouble Sports. Go check them out on go check them out on all social media formats. They do a great job. They're up and coming. They're going to be stars in the sports industry. So keep an eye on them. They're going to be great. And we are live with Spenser Watkins. He is a baseball pitcher. He pitched for the Oakland Athletics, Baltimore Orioles. Man, and now he's getting an opportunity to pitch in Taiwan with the TSG Hawks, which he recently signed, which was last week. He signed with the team, and now he's enjoying the off season with his family, his wife, and then the newborn baby. But thank you, Spenser, for joining the show. It's truly an honor, and I can't wait to learn more about your journey and how are you and family doing? Welcome.
Yeah, man. First, thanks off for having us. Really appreciate you reaching out and getting connected. Doing great, man. Just enjoying the off season. It's a great opportunity to be home, spend some time with family, spend some time with my daughter, and like I was saying earlier, we got more family coming in for the holidays, so a lot of exciting stuff going on. So just really soaking it all in.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let Cooper and Carter here start off here first.
What's your favorite part of being a dad?
Favorite part of being a dad? Oh
Yeah.
man, that's a tough question because there's so many awesome things. I think the coolest part is just watching her learn and grow. Just I mean, it's amazing. We've already done it. You've grown up and you've learned all these things, and you get to see your daughter or your child get to learn and do all that stuff too. It's probably the coolest part.
What's harder, being a baseball player or a dad?
Good question, boys. It has each one of them has their pros and cons in terms of harder. I would definitely say I get more sleep as a baseball player than as a dad.
Oh wow. Yeah. So tell our fans, obviously you were born in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, and now you're going back to Arizona, which is full come circle and a great story for you. But talk about your early life growing up and tell our fans, when did you get interested in playing baseball?
Yeah, growing up, I had three older brothers, and so I was the youngest of the four, and they were very involved in sports, baseball, football, things like that. So growing up, being the youngest one, I was always kind of the punching bag in
Yeah.
terms of, hey, let me throw some fastballs to me, and I'm going to hit them over the fence, stuff like that. So there was always a competitive nature driven from the early stages for my brothers, and then talk about a great support system in my parents. They were fantastic in terms of pushing me to do whatever was I wanted to do, and letting me go all in whatever it was. So growing up, it was a very competitive household as well as a very supportive household. And probably would say around age 5, I really started gaining interest in baseball. And one of my older brothers, Tanner, he was really good at baseball. He ended up just playing in college, but he was already involved in it. So I took a liking to it, and just kind of took off from there. I played baseball pretty much my whole life throughout. Played a couple years of football, some soccer, things like that, but baseball was always the number one.
Yeah. So what do you think of their background, by the way?
Yeah, I know. I saw that. It was a good little headshot right there. Nice job, boys.
Yeah. Now we go back to Cooper and Carter.
What made you become a pitcher?
What made me become a pitcher? That's a great question. So I was always a catcher, believe it or not, growing up.
Really?
I loved, yeah, when I was younger, I loved the idea of putting gear on and masks and all that type of stuff. I thought that was really cool. And I happened to become really good at it. I just couldn't hit very well. So I was really good defensively, had a great arm, but couldn't really hit. In high school, my senior year of high school, our head coach said, hey, we don't have a room for you as a catcher on the team, but we really want you to try and start pitching. So my senior year was like, and I had pitched a little bit when I was younger in Little League. Everybody kind of pitches a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I'd always had a good arm and threw hard, but it wasn't really my favorite thing. So once I got to senior year of high school, they were like, hey, let's see if you can pitch. And got on the mound, threw pretty hard, learned a breaking ball, and kind of just figured it out from there. So that was the start of it.
Yeah, that's cool. What's the best hitter you ever faced?
Ooh.
There's a few. You probably know Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the best one that I've faced.
Wow.
Him, you got
Yeah,
Aaron Judge, Vladdy. I mean, you name it.
yeah.
All right. So speaking, I want to go off from that their question with Otani. Tell our fans how do you go about facing Otani because obviously he's one of the best players in the league. But talk about how did you go about what was your method of going against Otani?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, what an incredible baseball player
Yeah.
overall. I mean, tons of respect for him as what
Yeah.
he's doing at the highest level. Um, for me, I've never really been a power guy. I'm not going to go out there and throw 98. I'll tickle a 94 every once in a while, but so I had to kind of put together a game plan along with our analytics staff of where are his holes, where are his biggest weaknesses, and he's a left-handed hitter, so that down and in hole is where he absolutely crushes. The nitro zone, as people call it. So our goal was to kind of stay away from there. And one of my bread and butters is my cutter. That's one of my best pitches. So we kind of noticed that if I was able to land that cutter up and away from him, it didn't allow him to stay on it long enough because he likes to kind of pull that front side and really drive the ball to right field.
Right.
So our goal was to challenge him in. Obviously, you got to make him honor it, but in off to that, he can't really do a whole lot with it. And then our goal was to work the cutter up and away. And visually to a hitter, it almost looks like a breaking ball that doesn't break, So it kind of gives them the illusion that it's going to come down into their barrel, but it stays up. And that's what I was able to do, is execute cutters away and up and away to him. And we had some good success with that.
Wow.
No, yeah, cutter.
We do have a fan question on my app real quick. One of our fans wants to know, you play with Oakland, so they want to know how tough is it going to be to see them in a different location pretty soon?
Yeah, there's so much history for the Athletics being rooted in Oakland and being, I was there for a brief moment in 2023, but you obviously, growing up a fan, you know guys like Dennis Eckersley and guys like that you watch forever that have so much history in that organization. So to see the team bounce from Oakland, it's sad. However, there's, I think, that fan base and that the history that it does have can really explode in another area, which is great for baseball. You want the game to grow always. You never want to see a team and a fan base get left behind. But on the flip side, Vegas isn't terribly far. It's not like they're moving up to Montreal or anything like that. They're still staying fairly local. So, I think it's good for the game overall to expand it and everything. Obviously, a sad day to see, the Coliseum and the town of Oakland lose that team, but good overall. I think so.
Yeah. Who is your favorite teammate?
My favorite teammate. Wow, you got some good questions, boys.
Yeah.
This is good stuff.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you.
I've had a lot of really great ones. I could throw a quick throwback. Zach Houston, who was on the show a little bit ago.
Yeah,
our guy. Absolutely, yeah. He's one of my close friends. We came up together through the Tigers organization, and we lived together for quite a few years, and are obviously still in touch and stay close and stuff like that. So he's definitely up there in the list. Shout out to you, Zach. Overall, you talk about a guy who's just a great baseball player, a competitor, great teammate, and I would highlight Adley Rutschman. I was lucky enough to have him as my catcher for 2023 or 2022, and just to watch how he goes about his business as a player, as a person, and as a teammate was just top notch. So Adley is definitely up there for sure.
Yeah, he's good.
Very good player.
Mm-hmm. Who was your idol growing up?
Randy Johnson.
Ooh. Oh yeah,
Randy Johnson was my guy. From being from Arizona, and then obviously, when I was younger, I kind of wanted to pitch a little bit too. So, watching him and seeing how big of a force he was on the mound, he was always kind of scary and angry. I just loved his intensity and his competitiveness. So I thought I was a big fan of Randy.
Wow, yeah, that's a good player to look up to. Obviously.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Talk about it. And I like to think I'm fairly intense on the mound, but I don't think I could match him. But that's definitely where it comes from.
Yeah, so tell our fans and Cooper and Carter, talk about your draft experience. You got drafted by the Detroit Tigers out of Western Oregon, but take us back to that moment. And it's always a player's dream after college to go to the next level, to pros and get drafted, and being with their families is a dream come true. So for you, what was it like being part of that and getting drafted and being with your family and friends?
Yeah, no, it was crazy. So we had just kind of finished up the season in West at Western, so I was up at school, and I had known that I wasn't going to go those first couple days, so we were mostly focused on that last day. And it's funny, the Tigers were actually the last team to reach out to me in terms of, like, they send out these questionnaires that you fill out and things like that. The Tigers were actually the last team to do that. And when they sent it to me, I didn't really think anything of it because it was the last one. I had filled out a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And then the scout, who I never really got introduced to prior, he had a Kansas City phone number.
Hmm.
So when I'm talking to this guy, I'm thinking he's a Royals scout. So I'm talking to him, and we're going through the days, and he's like, "Hey, we got you here. We're looking at you here. We like you here." I'm thinking like, "Oh, cool. I'm going to the Royals. Like that sounds great." And then I was home at my college house and had some teammates around me. My family wasn't there, unfortunately, but we were sitting, hanging out, and we're watching the draft board. And the scout texted me, and he said, "Hey, we're going to take you in this round," which was coming up on the 30th round. And so I'm watching for the Royals, and then all of a sudden I hear my name under the Tigers, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, that, wasn't expecting that. He calls me. He then tells me he's with the Tigers. So kind of a funny story there, but yeah, just a wild experience, and a great experience that I'll be able to have
That's
forever.
a good story.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think the height of your career was?
The height of my career.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Another great question, boys. You guys are on it.
Thank you so much.
I would say probably in 2022, probably my best year in the big leagues. I would say we were in Chicago playing the Cubs, and we were on a 9-game win streak, and it was the first time the Orioles had gotten close to a 10-game win streak since 1970 or something like that.
Wow.
And I was slated to start that 10th game. That was going to be the 10th in a row. So a lot of pressure. I had been throwing the ball really well, but you never, I was still an up and coming guy and hadn't established myself in the big leagues. So there was a lot of doubters, a lot of stuff like that. And I turned in, one of my best performances. I think I went 6+ innings, gave up like 1 run, and threw really well. And we ended up winning that game and had our 10th win in a row. So that was just, I would say as of now, that's probably the highlight and the height of my career.
Wow.
I play Little League, and for this spring, do you have any advice for me? I'm working on pitching.
You're working on pitching?
Yeah.
Consistency. So what I mean by consistency is, how many times can you throw your fastball in the strike zone? How many times can you throw your changeup in the strike zone? You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to throw a nasty curveball, slider, which you guys definitely shouldn't throw curveballs or sliders, so you're 16, right?
Yeah.
But consistency, boys. See how many times you can do the same thing over and over and over again, because that's where success lies as a pitcher, is when you can do the same, when you can repeat your mechanics, when you can throw your fastball at the location you want to, whenever you want to, that's when you have success. So your practice should always involve consistency. And how many times can I do this over and over again?
See, they got you.
These are Little League hat.
See, they got the Tigers hat now. Let's
This
go.
is our Little League hat. Yeah. This is our Little League team.
Yeah.
Let's go, boys. Go Tigers. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hey, we have another fan question for you on my app. One of our fans wants to know, take us to the process of signing with the TSG the Taiwan team, and talk about that. And did you ever think maybe you could have got another opportunity with the major league team before deciding going to a different country?
Yeah, no, the process it's crazy, because there's not a whole lot you can do. You can gain a little bit of interest, but there's really no communication moving forward, or until the World Series, 5 days after the World Series. So it's kind of in the dark. Now, we had known there was interest, because there's scouts that follow you throughout the year that show up to games, and you see them in the stands and things like that. But So it was super kind of it all happened really quick. But also we knew that was kind of our goal is we were wanting to go overseas, as a family. I'm 32, so I'm technically considered old in the baseball world. And there's, as you guys know, the game's getting younger and younger. You start seeing guys that are 20 years, like a Gunnar Henderson,
Yeah.
and you got all these young guys that are coming up. It's just getting younger and younger. So it's making it harder and harder for the older guys to really get a good shot at maybe a big league roster.
Hmm.
So we had known that going overseas was kind of in our on our bingo card, I should say. And the last couple of years, we had been talking with KBO teams. We kind of had some deals lined up last year, but they didn't end up going through because my daughter was being born, and we chose to stay stateside so I could be around. So we've had the thought process in our mind, and that's kind of where that process kind of really jumped. Was we were already looking at that, and then when they came knocking to us and they gave us a very, very great offer for us to go over there and bring the family over, and not to mention they're going to take great care of us. They've already got our living situation figured out and everything there. So it all just made a lot of sense for me and where I'm at in my career. So it was a crazy process for sure, but
And
fun process.
like we've been following your ever since we got connected, and then I saw your management or your marketing team, that you're part of.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
there's a player that signed yesterday with the KBO team, another player from the team marketing team. It's amazing what they do for you guys and providing for your families and finding the right team for you, which is amazing.
Yeah, Matthew Gaeta is the head agent there, and I've been with him since 2018. And you talk about a guy who cares about his clients and wants truly the best for his clients, not just the best for himself. I mean, he's since the 5 days after the World Series, I don't think he's slept at all, grinding on contracts for me and other guys, and he's got plenty more that are lined up over here on stateside. He's even got a couple guys that he's talking with other teams overseas as well. So that having him in my corner is one of the best decisions I made in my career.
Well,
Are you studying Mandarin?
I haven't yet, but I know that I'm going to have to learn some words. So I've definitely been brushing up a little bit on what that looks like, but I've heard it's pretty difficult to learn. So might need to gather up some Rosetta Stone, or might just use a translation app when we get over there. We'll see.
Are you excited to live in Taiwan?
I'm very excited. We've been the city is Kaohsiung City, and it's the second largest city outside of Taipei.
wow.
And talk about really, really cool architecture, a lot of really good food, just an overall new experience that we're super excited for. So we can't wait to get a chance to get over there and experience all that.
Have you been to Asia though?
Never have, no, never have. So I love the culture. I'm a big fan of all Asian foods. So I think we should fit in pretty well.
No experience. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Chinese food is
Exactly
amazing.
right. Exactly right, boys.
Yeah, so talk about so speaking of the leagues in Japan or KBO leagues, and then getting these players getting posted, you see a lot of players getting posted to come to the majors. So what's that like, seeing the game grow and seeing players from different countries getting posted, and we got some coming up this off season too. So talk about what's it like seeing that as a baseball
Yeah,
player.
I think it's an attribute to how much obviously the game's growing, but I think it's growing more in a sense of all of the analytics and the coaching methods are really being translated overseas. Before it was very, it was very in-house. Now I feel like a lot of like for example, Driveline. You know who Driveline is. They're a big baseball training place. They've boomed overseas, and a lot of those teams are starting to invest in getting their analytics and their training methods and stuff over there, which is then now you're seeing there's a whole nother pool of talented players that are getting the same training and information. So now you're starting to see all of these guys who maybe before were super talented, but with that little bit of extra help that's being expanded over there. Now you're seeing major league teams go, wow, there's a whole new pool over there that we can bring over. And like I was saying before with the Oakland thing, like we want to see the game grow. We never want to see the game stay stale. So I think it's a great thing for the game. You continue to see great talent for the fans and the viewers. Everybody wants to watch guys throw 100 with nasty splitters. So it's great all around.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a question for you. All right. Imagine yourself after a very exhausting game. You pitch like 7 innings or something, right? You win the game. What's your favorite thing to do after it?
Long game. That's a great question. Again, definitely get some good food.
Mhm.
I love having a good meal. I love having a good meal. It doesn't need to be like anything fancy, but something that's big and is going to fill me up. We get super hungry after a game. As you guys know, once you're done playing, I bet you guys love to
Yeah.
go get something to eat.
Yeah.
Whether it's a big
Yeah.
bowl of pasta or something like that, have a big meal, and then now more so be able to just spend time with my wife and my daughter and hang out and maybe watch a movie and just kind of relax. Your mind gets so wound up when you're competing that getting a chance to kind of just relax and settle in is very nice.
Speaking of food, what is your favorite food?
Favorite food? Well, it's tough between either Italian or anything Asian. Big fan of just pasta bolognese. I'm Italian. My mother's Italian, so I grew up on Italian cooking. And just a big old bowl of pasta bolognese. I'll eat that all day, every day.
I love that. That's really awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we have another fan question on my phone. One of our fans wants to know if you had the opportunity to sit down with 3 people for lunch, who would it be? They want to know.
Oh wow. Give me Sandy Koufax.
Ooh.
Randy Johnson.
Full time great. Yes.
Of course, Randy Johnson. Who would be the third one? Are we talking baseball or anybody? Anybody? Give me Nelson Mandela.
Oh,
yeah.
Just I would love to pick the brain there. Obviously, I want to pick the brain of 2 incredible pitchers, but someone who is super influential in the world. Would love to just pick their brain and see some insights.
Wow,
those are awesome people.
Yeah, dude, no doubt.
All right, do you want to hear Cooper and Carter's 3?
Yeah, give it to me, boys. What do we got?
Want to go first? I'll go Joe DiMaggio.
Nice.
My mom.
Good.
And
Good choice.
Yeah.
You.
Hey, there we go. All right.
Nice.
Even better choice.
I'll go. Let's see here. Bill Dickey.
Okay.
And both of you guys.
Nailed it.
Nice.
Nailed it. Nice work.
I want to hear my 3.
Yeah, give it to us.
Number 1, Mike Tyson.
Ooh,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Number 2, Kobe Bryant, the late Kobe Bryant. That's one of my favorite players. Yeah.
That's a great one.
The third one would be the third one is Derek Jeter.
Yes.
The captain.
Yeah.
The captain. Can't miss there.
Yeah. So talk about so go back to your major league debut. Tell our fans what was your major league debut like, and it was July 2nd, 2021 with the Baltimore Orioles, and this was when the Orioles were on the rise and getting young talent. And look at them now; they're one of the best teams in the American League. But just talk about what was it like just to be part of that team and making your major league debut that day.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild story. So I got called up to the taxi squad right at the end of June, and the team was in Houston. So I got to Houston, and it was back then, so right after the COVID and all that stuff. They had like the taxi squads where you could have, travel with 4 guys that would just be there at the park. They would practice with the team, but then when the games start, they would have to go home or back to the hotel. So I got there. The first night I literally got there, a guy ended up getting hurt. You never want to see a guy get hurt, but when that happened, a roster spot opened and I was the pitcher who was on the taxi squad at the moment. So that next morning, I got a phone call at about 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. As I'm, and it's kind of a funny story too, because it was a getaway day. So we were flying out after the game that day.
Yeah.
And I'm packing my bag, getting it ready to take it down to the bus and go to the field. And I get a call from our director of operations, and he gave me the whole spiel of like, hey, we're going to select your contract, and we're going to add you to the roster. And so when that happened, I completely blacked out, as you could imagine, being told you're gonna be selected to the big leagues. And so I get to the stadium, I'm active that day, don't end up pitching, but we get done, the game's over, and we're getting ready to get on the bus to go to the airport. And I completely forgot, like I blacked out. So I thought I left my luggage. I thought I didn't pack my bag. I went to our security guard. I was like, hey, you got to go back to the hotel. All my stuff's in my hotel room. He's like, no, it's not. You brought it down and handed it to me. But I had completely forgotten it because I blacked out everything that was going on, which is pretty funny. But then we get into LA. We had another game, didn't get in that game. And then that third game, which was July 2nd, I ended up coming in the 8th as a reliever and came in with 2 outs, got an out, came out for the next inning, got 2 outs. And the next guy up was Shohei Ohtani. And our skipper said, not today. You're not going to face him today. So he pulled me after that and had a nice clean inning and talk about one of the greatest experiences of my life. And then on to go off on the Orioles, I was pretty lucky to be a part of the kind of the end of the struggles that the Orioles, there we go, boys, the end of the struggles that the Orioles were going through and at the beginning of what the Orioles are now. So I got to kind of see, like you were saying, Nathan, this young talent come up and talk about talent. I mean, the talent that this organization had and still has coming through, as you guys now see all that, coming to fruition, just pretty incredible. And there was a lot of tough weeks of a lot of losses and things like that, but then transfer over to 2022 and we start winning some games and we win close to 90 games. And just really, really a cool experience. I've lost a lot at the big leagues and I've won a lot at the big league level. So I've been able to kind of experience it all.
And now they're considered, I mean, to be in these top free agents now as a team and being able to be in the conversation. And you never know with this Juan Soto thing that's going on right now. That's the biggest storyline right now in Major League Baseball is Juan Soto, where he's going to end up. And Baltimore's might be in the conversation. So it's good to see these young teams like the Orioles be in conversation now.
Absolutely. And it's great to see the ownership that's come into the Orioles that's ready to, take that next step. And like you were saying, show interest in guys like Juan Soto, whereas before they weren't going to really push that issue and didn't want to really necessarily spend the money for that. Now the new ownership really wants to spend that money and make the team what the team could be.
Yeah, definitely. So we've been to Camden Yards a few times. It's a beautiful stadium.
Absolutely.
But is it your favorite stadium you've ever been at?
My all-time favorite stadium city as a whole would be Boston and Fenway.
Yes. Oh, Fenway. Classic.
I mean, talk about just baseball history, what an incredible town that Boston is. The fans are fantastic. But when you talk about the most beautiful ballpark that I've played at personally, I would say Camden Yards. Absolutely. Yeah. Can't beat the Warehouse and just what a great atmosphere.
Wow. Yeah. Yes.
Who
is your favorite team growing up?
D-backs, baby.
Ooh.
D-backs, yep. Because their inaugural season was
1998.
90, yeah, somewhere around there. So I was young and all the excitement about that. So we bought in right away. And then obviously 2001, they won the World Series. We were at one of the ALCS or the NLCS games and just got to experience all of that. As you guys know, as young baseball fans and players, like, where are you guys from? Can I ask you?
We're in New Jersey.
So who's your favorite team?
Yankees.
So just like that, right? You're young. And the team that your hometown, you have a lot of pride about that, right? Same thing. I was super proud to be a Diamondbacks fan and all of that. So the D-backs all the way. And then you got Randy Johnson in there too. So
yeah,
can't beat it.
And they were this close to winning the World Series against the Rangers. I mean, that was
Crazy, yeah. What a
Yeah.
crazy run that was, and
Yeah.
they've got a good base, so it could
and
be fun for a few years.
and they got to find a
Yeah.
way to keep Christian Walker. He's a free agent, and
Guy's a dude. Got to
yeah.
find a way to keep him. Absolutely,
Yeah. He's
So
really good.
very good.
tell our fans, so talk about what was it like being part of the American League East and facing the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and also the Red Sox in a tough division every year. So talk about what is it like being part of that division.
Yeah, I mean, extremely difficult division. I mean, you could argue it's one of
Yeah.
the best, if not the best, divisions in all of baseball. Um, but what the toughest part of that is now it's a little bit different because they have more of like the round robin schedule where everybody plays everybody. You're going over the West Coast a lot more, things like that. But when I was with the Orioles, we were playing. It seemed like we just had the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Rays, the Red Sox, and then the Yankees, the Blue Jays. It was like you was just rolling over. You had AL East opponents, and everybody was just that much better. It seemed like than some of the other divisions, and so it was we call it a gauntlet. You're kind of running through the AL East gauntlet. You don't really have a chance to take a break or take a breath. You're facing aces, who maybe if they're not an ace on the Yankees, they're an ace on another team. And you're facing those guys every night. You have a lineup that doesn't really have an easy out anywhere. So it was just we called it the AL East Gauntlet.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Hard division.
Very hard division. I would say the NL West seems to now kind of have that similar feel.
Yep, definitely. Cooper Carp.
Yeah.
Given a question, I don't know a question. Oh, yeah. So we'll go to the fan questions. We have another fan question for you. Talk about they want to know they want to know your nickname. What they want? One of our fans wants to know your nickname.
My nickname is Waddy.
Why?
So obviously last name's Watkins. Waddy, in baseball terms, whatever your last name is, everyone likes to put E at the end of it. It's just kind of it, So like Zach Houston, a lot of guys called him Huey.
Yeah.
Things like that, So Waddy is my nickname. I always have it stitched on my glove. I actually have a glove right here. It's got stitched.
Oh wow.
Waddy on the side.
Waddy. Waddy. Cool.
Yep, pretty cool there. But I changed it recently, and I had my daughter's name stitched on my gloves.
That's amazing.
Pretty cool there.
What is her name?
Her name is Renly.
Renly?
Renly.
Yep, we call her Ren for short.
Oh. Ren.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the nickname's Waddy, and that's been my nickname as long as I can remember, really.
Yeah. What type of training do you do in the off season?
So I train at a place called Kinetic Pro Performance. And it's very pitcher driven. We don't have a ton of hitters or anything like that there. So it's a lot of analytical speaking stuff where we're talking about pitch design and pitch shapes and all of that. And then in terms of like working out, it's not your standard, get under a squat rack and try and lift the house type thing. There's a lot of specialized movements and specific movements to that are more translatable to what a pitcher does on the mound rather than just kind of being big and strong.
Yeah.
Very specific stuff.
When you're not playing your best game, what motivates you?
Now, definitely my family and my daughter. There's, once my daughter was born, there was a completely different lens that was given to me on success and what that is. And honestly, it was for the better. You play this game and there's so much scrutiny that comes with being in the limelight of playing in the big leagues, playing in the minor leagues, whatever it is. You can get lost and maybe not playing your best, but every day, no matter what, I still get to be dad when I'm done. And that gave me this kind of different focus and this different stress. And I think when you can perform without extra stress, however you're able to accomplish that, you're going to perform your best.
Yeah. Do you miss getting the hit?
Do I miss getting the hit?
Yeah.
No, not at all. I'm tired of 95 getting thrown at my head. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that.
Do you miss catching?
I do miss catching. I love catching.
Yeah,
I
that's
have
the fun part.
Nakona is the glove company I'm with, and I always have them send me like a catcher's mitt or two, and I'll catch flat grounds during the season just to, keep my skills nice and sharp.
Yeah, yeah, always good to do that.
That's a perfect segue from the family question, and we love talking about family on the show. And I'm a big part. I mean, family is important to everyone. Important to me. So talk about your family. What's it been like for you and I mean for your wife and now your daughter and then your parents and the rest of the family to have your back since day one when you started playing baseball and then now where you're at now, and just talk about your family and your the support system that you have with your wife and all.
Yeah, well, off the top, we were talking about my parents before and the support that they showed me, in allowing me to just follow whatever it was I wanted to follow, and they pushed me to make sure that whatever I was doing, I was all in. There was no, as that, for lack of better terms, half butting it. They said a different word, but there was no putting in just a little bit of effort. It was, you were going to do it or you weren't going to do it.
Yeah.
So they kind of instilled that great kind of drive for me, and they still. I mean, I talk to my mom regularly. I get a text from my mom and my dad the night before my starts, every single start, and it's pretty much along those lines of like, hey, remember, you're doing this for a reason. You don't go out there and just give a little bit, give all of it. And so they've never wavered from the very get-go of when I was 5 years old to now I'm 32 playing professionally. They've been there every step of the way. And then my wife and my daughter are my world. Obviously, that's a huge reason why I do and continue to do what I do outside of the love for the game. But to show my daughter that, what you can be with hard work and persistence and stuff like that. And then to have my wife and her support is greater than anything I could ever measure. I mean, just having her in my corner and what she offers to me, she knows that if I don't want, maybe I have a bad game, and she knows, she can tell I just want to sit there and eat a bowl of ice cream and watch a movie, or she'll know that, hey, maybe I want to talk about it. She'll sit there and listen, and she may not know half the stuff I'm talking about, but her ears are wide open, and she's there for me in any aspect, and just loves me regardless. And it's incredible to have a support system like I do, and I'm very, very grateful.
Yeah. So you're if when your daughter's old enough, I know you like pitching a lot and you also like catching. Which one are you going to focus on more? Teaching her.
Teaching her? Well, I'm going to let her decide for sure what she wants to play. If she wants to play softball or baseball or whatever it is, I'll be right there behind her. I would definitely say don't be a catcher, because you get your butt kicked all the time. It's a very thankless job, but it's a lot of fun. If I had to pick, though, I'm hoping she's a volleyball player. I want to sit inside. I don't want to sit outside in all these tournaments. You know what I'm saying? I know your parents know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, no, she'll always have the opportunity to try and do whatever it is she want to do, with just like my parents did with me. She'll have my full support in whatever she wants to do.
Wow. She's so lucky. She has your support to be a role model.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. It's exciting. Like we were saying before, it's exciting to now be that for her when I had such an awesome support group, and see her grow with it.
Yeah. So before we let you go, and tell her, would you like to say anything to our fans or to your fans and give any shout outs to people?
I mean, a huge thank you to the fans that have followed me and have been interested in me, and continue to watch and follow and show support. I mean, in this age of social media, there can be a lot of negatives, but the ones who really shine are the ones who are consistently there, and consistently supporting. So a huge thank you to guys like yourself and the boys here, shining such a positive light on the players, and getting to know them as persons and not just players. You know what I mean? So a huge thank you to just the positive thinkers and positive doers on social media, and involved in this game.
Yeah, well, there you have it. Spenser Watkins, a pitcher. Now he's going to pitch in Taiwan, and go follow him on all social media formats. He posts a lot of great content with his family, and looking forward to seeing his career now in Taiwan.
Yep.
And we're going to stay connected, obviously. And go follow Cooper and Carter from the Double Trouble Sports. They do a great job, and thank you for joining me also on the show.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
Yeah, no,
Good luck.
thank you,
Thanks, Waddy.
You bet, boys.
Yeah.
Thank you, fellas. I love it. Been awesome, guys.
Good luck on your new team.
Thank
Can't
you,
wait
boys.
to
Good
watch
luck
your
to you
success.
guys.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
too.
All right,
Bye.
fellas.
Thank you.